I'm gonna do this quick teaching real fast. You hear a lot of people talk about the power of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful mindsets that you can develop. Develop being the key word here, because it is a muscle that you can intentionally develop. And I think most people spend their lives living in fear. And I heard a talk recently by a gentleman named John C. Maxwell, an amazing author, one of the top selling authors in the world. And he said that fear comes from two main thought patterns. When you're living in fear, it's from two main thought patterns. Typically, it's going to be, I am not enough, or I don't have enough. And if you really break it down, those are very much scarcity mindsets. Those neural pathways are based on a scarcity worldview, which basically says that I lack. You're focusing on, when you're in scarcity mindset, you're focusing on what you don't have, okay? And that leads to fear. So if you want to live a life, a courageous life, if you want to live a life free of fear, now we'll never be totally free of fear because we're living in an imperfect world, but if you want to live a life, an abundant life with far less fear, then the way to get there is through intentionally practicing gratitude. This may be a new concept to some of you guys, or it may be an old concept to some of you guys. But I drew a graph out here to help you guys out. So here you have a line in the middle to separate the two worldviews. Here you start with ungratefulness. And when you're ungrateful, it invariably leads to lack and scarcity. A lack and scarcity mindset, which leads to I am not enough, or I don't have enough, which leads to a fearful worldview. If you start with, and by the way, ungratefulness is the default setting. If you let yourself go, your muscles move to atrophy if you don't work out. But in the same way, if you don't work out, your brain will move to scarcity, lack, and ungratefulness. So if you intentionally, daily, build that gratitude muscle through intentional gratitude practice, which you can do through writing down things you're grateful for daily, starting and ending your day with gratefulness. There's many different ways you can practice this. That will lead you to an abundance worldview. Why? Because when you're focused on gratefulness, you're focused on what you do have rather than what you don't. And there's a lot more in the universe that you don't have than you do. But when you focus on what you do have, it puts you in an abundance mindset, which leads you to thought patterns of I am enough and I have enough, which leads you to courageous actions, thought patterns, and habits. So I think too many people think that they're a victim of their mindset. They believe that they're just naturally not a grateful person. But I'm going to tell you something. If you meet somebody with the six-pack, they didn't just fall there by accident. They've been working on it, or they've been dieting. And it's the same way if you meet someone that's grateful. When you meet somebody that's perpetually happy, that's perpetually living in a calm state, that is perpetually seems to be filled with joy, that's likely somebody who's been working on that muscle, building it intentionally over time. Hope that encourages some of you guys. Anybody can choose to be grateful and to not live in a place of fear.